Everyone thinks America is impossible to invade. 2 oceans, massive military, armed citizens. Sounds bulletproof, right? Wrong. What I'm about to tell you will shatter everything you believe about American defense. The truth? America has never been more vulnerable to invasion than it is right now. And the biggest threats aren't coming from where you think they are. I spent months researching classified military documents, interviewing former Pentagon officials, and analyzing invasion scenarios that would make your blood run cold. What I discovered will change how you see American security forever. And fair warning, some of what you're about to hear will make you question everything the mainstream media has told you about our national defense. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some military experts believe America could fall within 30 days of a coordinated attack. And no, I'm not talking about nuclear war. I'm talking about something much more subtle and terrifying. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. America's unbeatable defense is largely a myth built on outdated assumptions that politicians and media keep pushing because the real truth is too terrifying to admit. The ocean myth destroyed. Everyone talks about those protective oceans like it's still 1945. We have 2 massive oceans protecting us, they say. Newsflash. Modern warfare doesn't need massive fleets crossing oceans anymore. While you're watching the coasts like it's World War II, the real invasion is happening through your Wi-Fi router, your smartphone, and your smart TV. Think about it. In 1941, it took the Japanese months to plan and execute Pearl Harbor. Today, a hacker halfway around the world can shut down the entire East Coast power grid from a laptop in under 30 minutes. Those oceans you're so proud of? They're about as useful as a screen door on a submarine when the enemy is already inside your house. The historical reality check. Let me give you a wake-up call with some uncomfortable facts. Pearl Harbor. Surprise! Your Pacific fortress isn't so secure. September 11th. Surprise! Your homeland isn't untouchable. 2020. SolarWinds cyber attack. Surprise! Your government systems are compromised. 2021 Colonial Pipeline ransomware. Surprise! Your infrastructure is digital Swiss cheese. Each time, we said, never again. Each time, we were wrong. And each time, the next attack was more sophisticated than the last. But here's what really keeps Pentagon generals awake at night. And it's not what Fox News or CNN are telling you. It's not some massive invasion fleet on the horizon. It's the fact that America's greatest strengths have become our greatest weaknesses, and our enemies know it. The disturbing pattern. Every major American defeat has one thing in common. We were preparing for the last war, not the next one. We built the Maginot Line while Germany went around it. We focused on conventional warfare while terrorists learned to fly planes into buildings. We're still thinking about D-Day while our enemies are winning through TikTok videos and supply chain manipulation. Controversial take number 1. Your armed citizens are actually a liability. Everyone loves that Yamamoto quote about a rifle behind every blade of grass. Here's the reality that gun manufacturers don't want you to know. Those 390 million guns? Most are owned by people who've never been in actual combat. Let me be honest here. Your weekend warrior with an AR-15 and a few trips to the shooting range isn't going to stop professional soldiers. They're going to create chaos that actually helps the invaders. Think I'm wrong? Look at what happened during Hurricane Katrina, the LA riots, or any major disaster. Civilian gun owners didn't form organized resistance. They formed confused, panicked groups that often shot at each other or at rescue workers. Now imagine that chaos during an actual invasion. The uncomfortable truth? Those guns are more likely to end up in enemy hands than in effective resistance. Professional military units know how to disarm and neutralize civilian populations. It's literally what they train for. Look at Ukraine, and this will challenge many. It's not civilian militias holding the line against Russia. It's organized military units with proper training, communication, and command structure. The few civilian resistance groups that worked were led by former military personnel, not random gun owners. Controversial. Take number 2. America's military is spread too thin. 750 bases worldwide sounds impressive in a campaign speech, right? Here's what politicians won't tell you. It means our forces are scattered like confetti across the globe while potential enemies can concentrate their forces for a single devastating strike. China and Russia don't need to match our global presence. They just need to hit us while our best troops are babysitting bases in Germany, Japan, and South Korea. It's basic military strategy. Concentrate your forces at the point of attack while your enemy is spread thin everywhere else. But here's the really controversial part. Many of those overseas bases are actually liabilities, not assets. They're hostages waiting to be taken. One coordinated attack on American bases worldwide would force us to choose: abandon our allies or split our forces trying to defend everything at once. The infrastructure nightmare. Here's where it gets really scary. America's infrastructure is held together with digital duct tape and prayers. Our power grid is so fragile that a squirrel causes more blackouts than terrorism. One coordinated cyber attack could shut down electricity for months, not days. America's supply chains are so globalized that we can't even make our own medicines anymore. We import 80% of our antibiotics from China. Imagine what happens if they decide to cut us off during a conflict. The 2021 Texas winter storm showed how quickly American infrastructure collapses. Now imagine that happening nationwide, but deliberately caused by enemy action. The social division weapon. Here's the controversial part no one wants to admit. America is already being invaded, and we're helping them do it. Social media manipulation, political polarization, conspiracy theories. Foreign powers are turning Americans against each other without firing a shot. Russian troll farms spend more on Facebook ads than most American political campaigns. Chinese apps like TikTok are collecting data on American children and feeding them content designed to promote depression, division, and anti-American sentiment. And it's working. Americans trust their government less than ever, hate their neighbors more than ever, and can't agree on basic facts about reality. That's not an accident. That's warfare. The veteran crisis nobody talks about. We have thousands of combat-experienced veterans who know American military tactics inside and out. Sounds great, right? Wrong. Many of these veterans are homeless, addicted, or completely alienated from the government they once served. Foreign intelligence services are actively recruiting disaffected American veterans. Why train your own soldiers when you can hire people who already know how to fight American forces? It's happening right now, and it's being covered up because it's too embarrassing to admit. Forget everything you know about war. Modern invasion doesn't look like D-Day or Red Dawn. It looks like normal life until suddenly it doesn't. Let me walk you through exactly how a modern invasion of America would actually happen and why we're completely unprepared for it. Phase 1. Digital infiltration. Already happening. This isn't future warfare. This is Tuesday in Beijing and Moscow. Hack election systems to create doubt in democratic processes. We've seen this. Manipulate social media algorithms to increase division and polarization. Happening now. Plant sleeper agents in tech companies, universities, and government positions. Documented cases. Corrupt government officials through blackmail, bribery, or compromise. Ongoing. Infiltrate critical infrastructure control systems. SolarWinds was just the beginning. The scary part? Most Americans think this is conspiracy theory stuff. It's not. It's documented fact that our own intelligence agencies have reported to Congress. The problem is, Congress is too busy fighting each other to do anything about it. Phase 2. Economic warfare, current stage. While Americans argue about pronouns and culture wars, here's what's actually happening. Foreign powers are buying up American farmland at unprecedented rates. Critical supply chains are being controlled by hostile nations. Cryptocurrency markets are being manipulated to destabilize the dollar. Real estate in major cities is being purchased by shell companies linked to foreign governments. American businesses are becoming dependent on foreign suppliers for critical components. China now controls more American farmland than many US states. They own pork processing plants that feed American families. They manufacture the components for American military equipment. If conflict starts tomorrow, they could starve us without firing a shot. Phase 3. Social collapse, the setup. Here's where it gets really dark. Why invade with soldiers when you can just wait for society to collapse from within? Foreign intelligence services are actively promoting extreme political polarization, Distrust in institutions, conspiracy theories that divide communities, economic inequality that breeds resentment, drug epidemics that destroy social fabric, educational decline that produces ignorant, easily manipulated citizens. The goal isn't to make Americans love China or Russia. The goal is to make Americans hate America and each other. And it's working better than anyone imagined. Phase 4. The physical component, if necessary. By the time foreign troops land on American soil, the hard work is already done. The country is divided, the infrastructure is compromised, the economy is dependent on hostile nations, and the population doesn't trust its own government. At that point, invasion isn't conquest. It's occupation of a failed state. Controversial truth. China is already winning this war. Let me give you some numbers that will make you sick. Chinese companies own massive chunks of American farmland, and food processing Chinese apps harvest American data 24/7. Building psychological profiles of every user. American universities are financially dependent on Chinese students and research funding. Critical rare earth minerals essential for American technology are controlled by China. American politicians and business leaders have financial ties to Chinese interests. We're not preparing for a Chinese invasion. We're living through one, and most Americans don't even realize it. The Mexico-Canada angle. Here's what nobody talks about because it's too politically sensitive. What if invasion comes through our friendly borders? Economic pressure, cartel influence, political corruption, or simple blackmail could compromise border security faster than any army. Mexican cartels already have better equipment and organization than many small militaries. Canadian infrastructure is so integrated with American systems that controlling Canada means controlling American supply lines. Both countries are economically dependent on the US, which makes them vulnerable to pressure from powers that want to hurt America. Compromise the neighbors, and you don't need to cross the oceans. The technology trap. America's high-tech military is also its greatest weakness, and our enemies know it. Every piece of advanced technology is also a vulnerability waiting to be exploited. Our F-35 fighter jets? They need software updates like your iPhone. Our drones? They can be hacked and turned against us. Our satellite communications? They can be jammed or hijacked. Our GPS-guided weapons? One EMP burst and they become very expensive paperweights. Meanwhile, our enemies are developing low-tech solutions specifically designed to counter our high-tech advantages. You don't need a billion-dollar fighter jet to shoot down American drones. You need a $500 commercial drone with an explosive payload. Asymmetric warfare at its finest. The Pentagon spent $1.7 trillion on the F-35 program. China developed hypersonic missiles that can sink aircraft carriers for a fraction of that cost. Who do you think got better value for their investment? The social issues debate. Prepare for controversy. Here's a hard truth. While other nations focus on creating efficient fighting forces, America is debating pronouns and diversity quotas in the military. You can debate whether social justice in the military is right or wrong, but you can't deny it's a distraction from core military effectiveness. While American soldiers attend sensitivity training, Chinese soldiers practice urban warfare. While military academies debate language, Russian military schools teach advanced cyber warfare. Our enemies don't care about feelings or pronouns. They care about winning. And they're watching us while we get tangled up in social issues. The recruitment crisis. The US military is facing its worst recruitment crisis since the draft ended. Why? Because many young, patriotic, physically fit Americans feel abandoned by the very country they're asked to defend. When the government labels certain political views as threats, why would you volunteer to defend it? When culture tells you America is oppressive, why would you fight for it? Meanwhile, enemies have no such crisis. Their populations believe in their cause. Unity of purpose wins wars. Division loses them. The veteran crisis. Thousands of combat-experienced veterans are homeless, addicted, or alienated. Foreign intelligence services recruit these veterans actively. They know American tactics and weaknesses firsthand. The VA system is broken. Veterans wait months for care while others get immediate treatment. How does that make them feel about their country? The nuclear paradox. Nuclear weapons are meant to deter global war, but they can't stop economic or social attacks. You can't nuke a cyber attack or a propaganda campaign. Nukes prevent World War III, but they don't stop World War IV. A war that looks nothing like the past. The real kicker. Foreign powers don't need to defeat the military in battle. They just wait for America to destroy itself through political polarization, economic inequality, and social unrest. Every riot, every social issue that divides, every economic crisis that breeds resentment, it's all part of their plan. The corporate sellout. American corporations have sold out security for profits. Hollywood censors movies to please China. Tech companies build backdoors for foreign governments. Defense contractors use components made in hostile nations. The same corporations that preach American values make the country vulnerable to foreign control. They prioritize shareholders over security, too big to fail, and too important to prosecute. Let me paint you some scenarios military planners are preparing for. These aren't science fiction. They're terrifyingly real. Scenario 1, the slow-motion invasion. Most likely. It's 2030. No shots fired, no armies landed, but America has fallen. Foreign companies own huge parts of American farmland and control food prices. Hackers have backdoors into the power grid, able to shut it down at will. Cartels have better weapons than local police and control border regions. Politicians financially dependent on foreign interests. Social media drives political breakdown. Critical supply chains controlled by hostile nations. The president tries to respond, but every action requires permission from foreign powers. America is independent only in name. Scenario 2. The inside job, already happening. Foreign agents have infiltrated. Universities, professors as operatives, tech companies reporting to foreign governments, politicians funded by hostile nations, military contractors building backdoors, media spreading propaganda disguised as news. The invasion is inside the house, and we keep answering the phone. Scenario 3. The distraction play, current reality. While Americans fight over culture wars, foreign powers quietly take control of infrastructure and resources. Every culture war is a distraction from the real war behind the scenes. Scenario 4. The perfect storm, nightmare mode. A coordinated attack hits multiple fronts. Cyber attacks blackout power grids in winter, economic warfare crashes markets and currency, social media triggers nationwide riots. Supply chain disruption causes famine, compromised officials spread conflicting info, military stretched responding to crises. Within 30 days, America goes from superpower to failed state. No nukes, no armies, just collapse. The most controversial. Take, maybe America has already been invaded, and we just haven't admitted it. When foreign powers manipulate elections, control supply chains, influence media, corrupt politicians, and turn citizens against each other. What else is left to invade? The America of post-World War II, unified, confident, independent, is gone. What's left is a shell being puppeteered by foreign interests while people argue about pronouns. The uncomfortable question. If China declared tomorrow it owned 30% of American infrastructure and had compromised political institutions, Americans would demand war. But if the same thing happens gradually over 20 years while distracted by entertainment and politics, no one notices until it's too late. Which scenario do you think is actually happening? Here's the real question no one in Washington wants to answer. Is America unbeatable? Or are we living a fantasy while the real invasion happens slowly right in front of us? The scariest part? This isn't theory or fear-mongering. It's documented reality happening right now while Americans scroll TikTok videos made by foreign powers conquering them. America's enemies don't need to match our military strength. They just wait for us to destroy ourselves from within. And we're doing a fantastic job. Every violent political fight, every failed institution, every economic crisis, all ammunition for our enemies. They don't need to fire a shot when Americans shoot each other. There's a point in every civilization's decline where damage becomes irreversible. Rome didn't fall in a day. It rotted from within until barbarians just walked through the gates. Are we past that point? Have we lost the war without realizing we were fighting it? If America fell tomorrow, would the average American notice? Would they care? Or just keep scrolling while foreign flags fly over government buildings? Your choice. Option 1. Close this video. Pretend none of this is happening. Keep arguing politics while your country is sold out. Option 2. Wake up. Pay attention. Stop letting foreign powers manipulate you. Ask why institutions fail and who benefits. The invasion isn't coming. It's here. The question, is there still time to fight back? What do you think? Fear-mongering or the uncomfortable truth? Let me know below. If you haven't been manipulated by foreign algorithms yet, if this opened your eyes, share it before it's fact-checked into oblivion by the same platforms helping our enemies divide and conquer. The most dangerous enemy isn't the one shooting at you. It's the one convincing you to shoot yourself. Wake up, America, while you still can.